What and all, welcome back to the semi-finals where Dumu has got his back up against the wall, but where there is darkness, there is light, there is hope. It's not quite his Baldy boys, but it's the cousins. The Chinese pick from Dumu in what could be his final game of midweek muster number 14. Anatan, meanwhile, goes to the Ayyubids. Presumably an anti-pro scouting civ in this situation with the Desert Raider potential to shut down scouts. Curious to see how Anno wants to try and approach this one. Looking at the spawns, pretty good one for him with retracted golds. He's not going to get harassed there, so if he wants to play greedy, he should be able to get away with it. The question mark is whether you should play greedy against China. China is probably the most efficient civ at being greedy in the game. They're able to easily eclipse your timings with these pro scouts into fast castle builds. So I wonder if Anno is going to try to play the edge, because the only negative of doing so, of course, is your best unit being Desert Raiders, your opponent's best unit in Feudal being Zhuge-Nu. Zhuge-Nu do counter Desert Raiders. There is a world in which what Anno could do here is on an opening, he could bait his opponent with like a feigned existence into Desert Raiders, which forces Dumu to then panic overreact with like 3 to 4 horsemen, and then you go for the greed play. Opening should be quite telling though. Usually if you want to try to be more efficient in your early feudal harassment, it makes a lot of sense to go for the Dervish. That would force your opponent to eventually go Zhug, but obviously without Song Dynasty, that's not possible. No way! Anatan, he's 2 games up. If there was ever a time for it, it's now. We've got Trade Wing Bazaar coming in. And sorry, I didn't put predictions up. Let's do that. Now people want to do predictions knowing that piece of information. So this is really important. Trade Wing Bazaar is very much a coin flip. This landmark can just end the game off of the first ticket pump if you get lucky. For example, in this matchup, if Anatan got, say, double skirmisher, pretty good position to harass. Theoretically, it might be better value to get the Bedouin Swordsman, because the Bedouin Swordsman will kill enemy horsemen and scouts. But we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Like, the first contract pull is going to be vital here. Other side, Dimmu just going to stand in Imperial Academy. Gold gathering with 4 on. This is looking like an undoubtable pro scout situation, as is almost always going to be the case with China. Deer spawns are quite wide. That's actually good for Dimmu. It means that if Anatan is looking to play this infantry opening, he's going to be a little bit more locked in, a little bit more linear on where he can play it, which is not what you want to have here. Like, in an ideal world, your spawn, your dream spawn is Anatan. Deer here, another deer here, and, like, 1 more deer here. Because the logic there is, like, your infantry can block a lot. Waiting to predict until we see the wing outcome? Oh, that's right. I better not show the wing outcome for, like, an extra 40 seconds, then. How's the sheep hole looking? Pretty decent. 15 sheep, 9 on the other side, which is really impressive actually for Dumu, considering that you start on berries, Banner. In fact, yeah, he hasn't really touched his sheep at all. So after the opening game where Anatan dominated in the sheep department, this game, he's a mile behind. That's somewhat to be expected. Obviously, game 1, he went double scout. In this game, Dumu's playing Chinese. All right, moment of truth is approaching here for Anatan. A lot of gold being gathered, but that's because he has to commit it. Yeah, 9 on gold says everything. What? He's going to go pro scouts. This is a very different build. I don't think we've seen one quite like this before. We've seen pro scouts with advancement wing. We haven't really seen pro scouts with trade wing because we never really see trade wing. And looks like he got... Oh, did he get unlucky? I think he got... Was it a food exchange ticket there? He went for the traders. What? No. So, do you guys really want to know what the outcome is and you want to vomit? So he got trader and he got 2 tickets of buy stone. In theory, he could have went 2 TC. And yes, good eyes. I think, yeah, it was wood was the other one. So you got wood, trader, and 2 stones. The 2 stones is just kind of sad now because, like, we're in a meta where if you go 2 TC here, Pro Scouts Fast Castle kills you. That's been the bread and butter. If you look at practically every single matchup at the moment, 2 TC just gets punished constantly. So, traders, not going to be great, though, guys. 15 gold is pretty underwhelming. It's... I mean, it's 150 gold for 2 traders, right? So, by the time they make 5 rotations, they've paid for themselves. And like I think the reason Anatan went for this play is like it's a delayed pull back on an investment. The reality is if Dimmu doesn't want to react to the play by going horseman because he's in a scout race, then you just profit long term. We do have Desert Raiders coming in from Anno, by the way. Very good unit at just harassing those initial scout plays. The reason it's quite nice is if your opponent opens with a horseman to counter your scout harassment, well, you'll find you've got Desert Raiders. But Dimmu, already reading through it, is prepping the spearman. Oh, wow, he's actually buying the stone. Wait, so is this going to be trade wing, trade, pro scouts, 2Ts? That is... I'm trying to think of this a way to be more greedy. That's a lot of layers of greed to the cake right there. I'm trying to think if you can be more... Is there anything more greedy than this? I mean, he at least built a Desert Raider. It's not like he just said, I'm going to go Fast Castle as well. But this is pretty high up there on the greed list. That's wild. We talked about this, though. Like, you know, you can kind of take risks like this when you're 2 games up. And once you're on the trade, if it doesn't come out on the tickets you want, you have to lean into the playstyle. I think that's a big part of what people don't like about Tradewing, is like... You could argue the RNG pivots you in a direction, but if that wasn't the way you set your base up, like, you know, you open stables and then you don't have the aggressive units to back up stables, you just feel like you're at a disadvantage. So, second ticket hasn't been taken yet. No, this is just stone for emplacements. He's going to go Fast Castle. Okay, we've dialed it back. It's less insane. It's possible that was a reaction to, like, someone his opponent was doing. His Desert Raider was in on the enemy side, so he would have seen the spears at least. So it's going to be Spear Horseman come from Dimmu. do you guys think he knows? What do you think the chances are he knows that there's a little bit of trade going on? There you go, even fortification on the outpost. He's super paranoid he's going to get blocked on his gold. I can kind of see where he's coming from. Like, they are on the similar side, but they are backspawning golds. They're very hard to actually shut down. The Spearmen are going to be shuffling over, but the Pro Scouts play has already taken home, like, what, everything? Yeah, he got his own deer stacks. What? Oh, wait, no, was that a split on the map? I don't think so. I think they legit 50-50'd it. It's a really good timing overall from Anatan, and I guess the nice thing about this is you now already have the stables play, because he went double stables to pump out the scouts quickly. He now has double stables for camel lancers. This is perfect. And wait, he's basically just using all the tickets. And look at the follow-up. It's going to be Culture Wing. So Relic Rush. This is kind of crazy. So we go Trade Wing, Pro Scouts, basically clearly contemplated 2TC with 250 stone in the bank. And then we go Relic Rush. And then presumably after that, you go back for 2TC. Have I like listed that all correctly? That's a heavy shopping list. I thought my £12 kebab was expensive, but when you get to checkout on this one and see what's on the receipt, you're gonna assume that Anatan comes from like one of those rich trust fund kid situations. Did go Song, by the way, so he's at least looking to slightly extend his eco lead. He needs more troops ASAP. Dervish is going to be coming in 1 minute. Imperial Palace on the way. This is tricky, though. You don't usually just spam Camel Lancers here against Ayyubids. It's risky. You'd have to know what your opponent's up to. The problem is, like, you've seen Pro Scouts, you've seen Desert Raiders, you're assuming he has stables. So that kind of pushes you away from playing Lancers and more towards infantry. See? Deepak gets what I mean. £12 kebab wasn't made of gold. Exactly. People always think that the Britlands is a rich country. We don't, like, I don't feel like we're rich these days. Rich in terms of cost, for sure. Feel like a profiteer like this Ayyubid build. Look at Dimmu's surround. He is looking for any iota of information as to what is next. There isn't a single player Anatan can make that would not be noticed right now. Except one. One that you can never predict, baby. Are you kidding me? He gets double Bedouin Swordsman when his opponent is going Palace Guard. That's ridiculous. And he spawns them straight away. Remember, these guys are anti-melee. 16 damage against melee units, 186 HP. They're pretty bloody good, especially considering that Dimmu no way in hell he's ever going Zhuge when he knows Camel Lancers are coming. Great timing on the Relic Interception, though. Dumu already picking up the central one. Now, Anatan does have 3 dervishes, should be capable of just finding quickly what he needs. Who would win? An unarmed man carrying a heavy relic or one spim? Oh my god, it's going to be that unarmed man with 1 relic, isn't it? Yeah. Can we just agree this is not okay? For any Civ that is able to do this. I mean, I'm just going to keep watching it. I think it's very important we keep watching this. Really just to rub it in. Because some people might not experience this on their ladder experiences. You're lucky. Over here, looks like this one did at least die, actually. Palace Guard should win this fight, right? 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 Maybe eventually, but considering how many of them were here, that did not feel like a great trade. Nice grab there. Makes it worthwhile for Dimmu. So that is going to be a free relic haul against Ayyubid Dervishwing. That's not a good sign for Anno. He was looking for the immediate triple relic rush. Didn't get it. Now the Camel Lancer play, it kind of feels like the timing was slightly off, right? Like, I'm kind of surprised we didn't see the Camel Lancers a bit deeper by now. It's bought enough time that Dimmu is going back for spears. What the mother of bank is this? He's already getting astronomical clock tower. Can we just talk about Chinese? This Civ, I swear, it's always usually in China that make my jaw drop when I look at their economy. Out of nowhere, they suddenly afford Castle Age again, pre 15 minutes. Camel Lancers should be able to punish a bit, but with the Spearman already showing, Anatan's going to be paranoid. And what tickets are we talking about? Okay, so he left 1 wood charge. He's about to get new ones. I mean, traders, you don't have... You have map control for the moment, but I don't think you maintain it. He's getting 43 gold going the other way. Triple Bedouin this time. Okay, that's actually... did you kiss a leprechaun with that mouth? That's perfect RNG. I actually think Bedouin Swordsman is wholly what you want right now. Because you just saw your opponent with mass spears. So just getting as many of these bad boys as possible is perfect. Gives you an answer against spearmen. This is the other frustrating thing for Dimmu against Tradewing. So, like, someone we don't get to talk about much because we never see it. Because it does have a lot of negatives. But one of the upsides is your opponent has to consistently keep scouting in to know what you're doing next. Oh, did he get, like, free trader pumps? Is he now doing that? Oh, did he get mass skirmishes? Do I have to worry about... Has he got mass Bedouin? Do I have to worry about that? By the time you've scouted that type of information in a game like this, you've already walked headfirst into a counterplay. Bedouin reveal themselves. Almost 200 HP on these things. And Spearmen are gradually getting gap closed here. I guess the upside is... Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I'm pretty sure Bedouin Swordsmen do not charge. So they only move at 1.25. Chase is going to continue at least. We do have archers now getting added in by Anatans. It's a correct action, but kind of tricky now. He had to go archers because it's just too many spearmen. You can't wait, what, 3 minutes to get 6 Bedouin every 6 minutes. Every 3 minutes is bad. So you have to add in archers to count this. However, Dimmu already got Yuan, which means he has got the ability to go into siege. The other problem with this Yuan, you're noticing it here. If he has to fight, the Bedouin win. But if he just runs away... Where are the Bedouin? Oh, there they are. I swear, Yuan still feels like one of the most toxic unit interactions I can think of. I mean, we can talk about great bombards and certain defensive landmarks, etc. But the thing about Yuan is it's just kind of like... It almost feels like a casual side choice that there's no negative going into. I get it, it costs 1,800 resources, but as we just saw here, in the grand scheme of things, 1,800 resources doesn't feel like a lot of money for the Chinese in the current meta. The only way I can see Anno winning is rushing him. For like what? Desert Raiders, I guess? Your opponent has mass spears. I think the only play there is like Growth Wing, but then you're getting into a full macro game against China, who got free relics and also could easily be going 2TC. I'm not really sure what Imperial gets Anatan that puts him ahead here. What spears you have, horse archers? Yeah, but these are spears that have you on Dynasty, sir. Sir, please. Let's be reasonable. Because China's movement speed is not. Alright, these guys have optimized manufacturing rip-off Nikes. They're better than standard Nikes at this stage. Look at these things. Dimmu knows that Anatan needs to dive him. So he's already walled the west side. We've got a lot of stone gathering. Could be a keep drop afterwards. Just to set up down here so you can get farms. Actually, like, white... yeah, you have to go east side, right? Like, granaries here would be kind of ugly because of the pagoda locations. But remember, those pagodas are disgusting. It's ridiculous. It's getting, like, what? 250 resources per. Anatan. Oh, how can we forget? The one perfect answer. I keep forgetting we're in a meta where it's not just a meme anymore. He's trying to mass spring odds. Spring shots are looking good right now. He has got the AoE heal as well. However, the Nesta Bees, if they hit those archers, can be guns. Goes to the back line instead. Springles have to pull away. They don't get repaired by the dervishes. No, these boys do all in bio, not mechanical. Anatan, he's reducing the enemy army pretty heavily. He himself is also running out of steam here. The Camelot is able to break through, though. The crossbows, they're not one-hitting through on the camels. Siege goes down. Anatan, it looked like he was on the verge of defeat there, but he may have just got the break-in at the perfect time. All because of the Camelot's meatiness to the formation. The Spiral's initial hits were huge as well, and the big difference maker, like, you have to give it to it. The heal really did add up there. That cross-spread fight, especially the Nesta Beast damage being offset, I think that really was the difference maker there for Anatan to take a win in the engagement, but now he needs to win in the game, and unfortunately for him, Dimmu is not going to miss an opportunity to expand here. East side keep drop to secure that farmland behind. And there's no army big enough here to contest it. Anno, in the meantime, though, never one to fall behind. He's going 3 TC against 2 TC Song. Not just that, we have been getting additional traders, right? Okay, no, quite limited on the traders. A new pump just came out. I think they've been getting shut down quite frequently. If he can trade this side, he's got the corner set up now, so it's 86 gold each way. Past 20 minutes, I just don't know how Ayyubids can contest Chinese at all. In theory, it's like you mass Desert Raiders. But once again, like the problems you run into there, it's not just the Yuan Spears, it's these. These units right here tend to fall off in Imperial Age, but I generally think the exception is against Desert Raiders. Because Desert Raiders have the range tag. So they actually take quite a lot of damage from these things. So we may yet have a series. Dimmu should be looking for the granary transition soon. Food sources are running out. If he gets granaries up, Anatan is in big trouble. Like he's taking the sticker sites. So Anatan, he understands that the quickest way to lose this game now is headbutting into the Chinese. They've got mass Nesta Bees, they've got castle drops. It's just not, it's not a sustainable trade. But what your opponent doesn't have right now is map control. He's not out of his corner. One interesting thing that can happen here off of Eco Wing, at least for Anasand, is with that 10% increased gathering rate, plus the Golden Age effect with the 10% increased gathering rate, you're kind of like China. It's not as good, but you at least offset the supervision advantage they get in terms of resource gain. Does still come at the caveat of you're gathering your resources quicker, while China just has a limited resource adding 20% on. All right, one's if you think Anatan's going to win this. Choose if you think Dumu's going to take it. Eco Wing's bugged right now. No new villagers get the 10% buff. Wait, what? Is that true? Is that really a thing? So, like, all the existing villagers do, but no new ones. That's a pretty big bug. Then again, I'm not surprised it would be an oversight because no one ever goes for Eco Wing him. We do have decap attempts. Spring Autumn placement might take too long, so Army's going to have to react, is on the way. We do, however, have shenanigans on the west side. The Spring Autumn placement wasn't there. So Anatan needs to rush, villagers out just to try and hold this long enough for the Lancers to arrive. But if you get intercepted, nah, he's on. Okay, so Dumu can't hang around. He's still got that ticking time bomb, but it's 8 minutes. It's a lot of time for China at this stage with Pagoda, mass granaries. Granary count currently sitting at what? 24? So Dumu has got time. He doesn't need to panic too much. Also, this east side sacred site, I think, is the clearest target. Just because it's close enough that you can kind of lean in from the keep placement with your Nesta B spam. Because you kind of have this nice layering to your base where it shuffles out towards that sacred site. Doesn't leave you too exposed. I don't know, like, what does he really see his win condition as now? We're actually seeing an upgrade into the Desert Raiders. So he is leaning into it. And yeah, for good reason. It's going to be the military wing reinforcement. So he's going for the savings of blobbing army. Remember, this gives you, I think it was something like 580 resources per minute in terms of units produced. It's pretty damn pricey. Pretty good value. Means that like Imperial Age pays for itself in 6-ish minutes, 7 minutes. In the meantime, you get an army just vomiting out. Another interesting little mechanic for you guys. We're just talking about how Growth Wing apparent doesn't work correctly. How about this for insanity? Military Wing reinforcement stockpiles the points. So if you're pop blocked, and let's say 20 minutes passes, you're going to vomit out, like, what would that be? 70? You're going to vomit out 70 units. Dumu bought the food he could age up. Yeah, but think about it this way. Dumu, instead of like buying the food, now when he ages up, he can buy everything. He can buy the Bank of Switzerland. He can buy a much bigger wedding ring for his waifu. All of it. Because he held on to all that gold. Space Bab coming in. Let's grab on the gold. Great Wall Gatehouse now on the way. Check the position as well. Oh, that's interesting. It's not quite in range of the sacred site, but it's also smuggled behind the tree line, so the outpost doesn't see you here. A little bit surprising of a placement. It doesn't necessarily fully protect anything. It does stop trade somewhat, but it doesn't fully grab the golds. It kind of edges them and the sacred site. If he placed it here, it would have been seen, potentially contested. Does feel like this is trying to do everything, though. I don't think the Great Wall Gatehouse placement is going to punish him too much, just because, as I said, it's a fallback position. When your opponent hits you, you can just shuffle back underneath it safely. But yeah, Anazan, aged up, of course, does have the first Desert Raider Swings pumped out. Isn't going to be rushing to use them. Wants to try and set up his economy, because like right now, one very big problem for Anatan, it's only 26 farms. It's not a late game economy. Meanwhile, Dumu, he's ready to meat grind, man. 44 farms already. Now, one negative for Dumu is going to be the fact that like his army is very immobile. So he's not looking for raids, he's looking for direct engagements. But he's doing everything necessary to support that. Like hand cannoneers is the next logical step for taking a static engagement. Where did the gold go? Hey man, China's a hungry boy. The gold went into all this. That right there is like, what, 4,000 gold? Elite army tax is 1,000 itself. Additional barrels cost 800 gold, by the way. And then we got the elite techs for 700 each. And there you go. All of a sudden, waiting and just gathering the food organically makes a lot more sense. Basically, because Dimmu was in the shop with his like black credit card, he's like, I can't decide what I want. I'll buy everything. Quick ball there by Dimmu. Pushes towards the Great Wall Gatehouse. Hello. Desiree's going to try to dive in, but the STBs are a big problem here. Both Great Wall Gatehouse form and ground form, and the shots need to catch fast, but Anatan trying to bypass. Breaks through the wall. Heavy damage onto the archer formation, but he's looking at all those villages. With Snare arrows, it should be quick work here. Dimmu trying to shuffle away, but a heavy economy lead now for Anatan. Dimmu still needs to now rush into the back of his own base to clean this up. Damn, that was a sick timing. Anatan, just a few seconds later, and that is dire consequences. Those Nesta bees, like you're seeing the issue of it. It's kind of classic example would be mass mangonels, elephants as well. It's like, yeah, they only kill you if they can reach you. Same with Nesta bees here. 10 Nesta bees is a death sentence. But getting them in position to implement that death sentence, like there's a reason those big muscular executioners required someone to be tied down with their head on the chopping block. Clearly weren't designed to chase after, and kind of the same here with Nesta bees. Yes, if you're in range of them, they will beat you senseless. But, you know, if you just walk away. Now though, Dimmu is going to try to walk in. Anatan still achieving damage on the backside. But Dimmu is popped right now. It doesn't hurt him as much as Anatan, who's still catching up. Gold is now going to be secured. The AK is accessible. It's going to be marching on the east side. Some farms in the area. The gold has been gathered up here. Nano already left with too many options bar this 8k, which is expiring quite rapidly. In terms of trade, he only has 7 traders, and they are all doing the bad trade route. So only 26 gold each way. He deletes them straight away. He's like, okay, I'm done with this trash. These things are useless. Get me more villagers stat. Yeah, I guess that's like one of the biggest issues with this whole plan around the trade wing, right? Is that you are just burning through the limited gold you have on the map at an insane pace to leverage it. What counts bees? Mangoes! Da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na. I mean, Manjaniques would be the counter. But, like, multiple issues here. You need so many of them, and even then, your opponent has got the clock tower effect, so they're really tanky. Horsemen could be a call. Desert Raiders is a little bit more tricky. We mentioned why. Like, Desert Raiders just melt 2 Nesta bees. I don't know. It's getting very hard to bank against Dimmu here. Anatan really needs to make this game about raids, but that involves winning this initial fight against Dimmu, who's now committing into the base. Hand cannoneers, crossbows chasing. Yuan just makes it so difficult to get away. And despite all those villager losses on the other side of the map, you see what the trade-off was. Like, Dimmu understood. He was waiting for that type of fight where Anatan would get wiped. Read it perfectly that Anna wouldn't be able to remass quick enough here before he got to the base. And now, although Anatan has got the same count in army, biologically, he finds himself at a complete mismatch in terms of quality. The Nesta bees feel unkillable. He is currently scaling more camel lancers to try and answer that. And speaking of which, the backstab's going to come in, but they get baited onto the hand cannoneers. What? They killed 2 units. That was it. That was the big Hail Mary strike. Half his camel lancers around the back, and they do nothing. Could be worse, though. We've seen Crackley's replays. At least Dimmu hasn't been walling these small choke points. But this is brutal, man. 10 Nesta bees. Not feeling like Nesta memes right now. Yeah, this is what happens when you bring a camel to a gun expo. Now push across the west side. Looking more focused on the gold, but that gold has already ran out. Anatan They'd have to play even deeper, more risky. We do have a cannon placement on the way, by the way. Dimu doesn't know about that yet. Should know quick enough to take it out, though, with the villagers. And there you go, yeah, torches out. That would have been pretty catastrophic at this stage, losing that many villagers on the goal to a cannon placement, so good he noticed. Bad now for Anatan in every other regard. Desert Raider Camel Lancers to try and carry him here. But the nest of bees, it's up to 11 of them now. So maybe, I don't know, like, did we think Trade Wing Pro Scouts was a little bit too far? I don't feel like that's where the game went wrong for him necessarily. I think it was that push into Dumu's base that lost control for Anno. But he kind of had to do it because he lost the relic race. That's what Dumu done so well. He pried the castle up, he supervised for the Monk Rush, and he took out the extra relic from the center, which is a big deal with the follow-up Pagoda play. Now, Dimu will accept no deals, but absolute surrender from Anatan. He's trying to hold on, but at this stage, kind of running out of the resources to do so. And he's got no gold workers anymore. So once the Camel Lancers are gone, they're not coming back. And just to make sure there is never any trade, we have walls to secure it. He left him with the crap option. This is like when, you know, you get the really bad end of the divorce hearing and you lose the house, you lose the kids, but she let you keep the blender. That's nice, I guess. That's not so nice. Oh my God. Hey man, it's a 2000 RPM blender, okay? It comes with 4 switch modes and RGB lighting. I won the divorce. Camel Lancers can't even sneak around. They're just getting scoured by the reinforcements. Yep, shout out to him, okay? He has a healthy and loving relationship with his hand. Desert Raiders just get massacred here. The archers on the back. Not gonna be able to do too much against this. There is a deletion in the wall, though. Now, hold on. Oh, don't hold on. We have a strike back. Ben on the board.